When we are talking about the education, particularly the higher education, so many policies are coming from time to time, and these policies are coming from the government sector. Now, have we ever imagined that how these policies come? I am sure that these policies, once they are thrown in the open market, they are based on certain parameters. And those parameters help the government sector, the officers working in the ministry to come up with those models. As far as the survey of this data is concerned, data is always being considered of two types. One is the real, another is the virtual one. Since by profession I am a physicist, I know that if you have a real data, the results that will come will be always in good agreement. And if you are working with a virtual data, you will always have deviations. As a teacher, as a citizen, it is our moral responsibility to work hard, to come up, to share the very accurate real data. And for that, we need to work as our cell in the University of Kashmir, and then worthy colleagues coming from colleges have been coordinating very well. Ultimately, this data is not being thrown just in the waste. This data helps us really in coming forward the government and giving us certain policies for the establishment of higher educational institutions regarding how much infrastructure we need, how many finances we need, and how much human resource we need. Particularly when we talk about the human resource, that depends upon how much is the enrollment in your colleges. And I am sure that the government will be definitely considering that what has been the enrollment of, for example, college A, then and then we can have the placement or the appointment of new human resource to that institution. So the survey, I mean to say that I am talking these things in context to the survey. So the survey is very important. It is not like that it is just as that part of duty we have to just tick it. No. My appeal, my request to all my worthy colleagues is that whosoever is associated with this AISHE from different institutions, kindly come up always with the real data. Because real data will help us, that will help the government sector in bringing the policies. And when we talk about the government means we are part of the government. So it is our moral duty to come forward and work very hard, and I am sure that I am seeing some known faces here who are very competent, and the people who are working in different institutions are very competent. So therefore it is a very simple thing for them. But the only thing is that we have to concentrate on this and take the assignment very seriously. I congratulate my DICA cell under the dynamic leadership of Professor Manzoor Saab, and then having a good coordination with all the dear and worthy colleagues who have come from different institutions today, and then the guests from the ministry. I am sure that you will have lot of discussions in technical sessions, and the idea should be only one, that how to produce the real data, how to have the real analysis, because the analysis is very important. At the end of a day, the data that we are sending to the ministry, there are experts, there are technical experts. The job of those technical experts will be to analyze it. Okay? And I am sure that they will be using different softwares for that, so that they get the results. It is simply, we are doing a very pure science. We are doing a very pure science. We are not doing something imagination. So these things are based on very reality.
The fact of the matter is, if you look at the present world scenario in general, as they say that passion provides the purpose, but data drives the decisions, right? To my understanding, what over the years, if you look at the world, the difference that you see between the developed and the developing world especially, To my understanding, it is primarily because of the fact that the developed world somehow learned it earlier to base their policies primarily on the information that data would give them. And that is why they have really progressed well, and things have actually, things are at a different. And I'm glad that in India this exercise actually started. And then if you look at right from the beginning till now, what has been achieved through this exercise, it is enormous. The outcome of this AISHE survey at the country level is really enormous. And most important thing that we all need to actually understand is the quality of the data that we generate. Because as they say, garbage in and garbage out. If we put in wrong data, wrong outcomes would be there. This workshop is largely about that. And every year, we are grateful to the people from the ministry who come every year for this training purpose. And they make sure that whatever best is basically possible at their end, it is imparted to the participants, so that we are all abreast of the latest norms for the data filling, and whatever data is generated, this is as clean as possible and as reliable as possible, right? That is one. If you look at the outcome of this survey over the years, this has helped the country a lot in formulating the right policy decisions vis-a-vis the higher education landscape. Especially if you look at, for example, the gross enrollment ratio. I mean, it gives you the real picture and where exactly you need to focus more and where you need to relatively focus less. Or for that matter, I was looking at the latest survey outcome. There are some striking facts. For instance, the number of female students across the country over the years has significantly increased, which is a real good sign. And I'm glad that we have most of the officers from the ministry, the female officers. So, and there is, that basically gives us an indication that on this gender aspect also we are really progressing well. And there is also that was something striking to me, that more people are opting arts at the graduation level rather than sciences, which is good, of course, but I believe for those who are in sciences and doing sciences, our registrars would bear me out. I think we need to go out for more those science engagement programs so that the scientific temperament of the society also increases. In our context, we are basically doing that. And something which is very encouraging, if you look at this data, is that the primacy of these government institutions. Somehow, a larger chunk of the students across the country still in the higher education, I mean to say especially, they are in the government institutions. Although private universities have come up, private colleges have come up, but fact of the matter is still government institutions hold that primacy, which is a good thing. So having said that, I must tell you, all of you since belong to the different institutes of higher learning, and this AISHE data is so sensitive and so important. Whatever we do, for example, whatever we submit in the NIRF ranking process, whatever we submit in the NAC, for the NAC accreditation, all this basically, whatever those figures are there, those figures are actually cross-checked with reference to the AISHE data. So we have to make sure that the data that is basically in the AISHE portal is as reliable as possible and as clean as possible. For example, whatever figures you give in NAC, at times you don't mind basically at times what is there in the AISHE. Make sure that they are compatible to the AISHE, because government especially takes all those figures. I'm sure my colleagues will throw light on it more, and they will bear with me that it is they cross-check it with. And I think in our process, University of Kashmir, to those who are first time here especially, I'm glad to tell you that University of Kashmir is a NAC A+ accredited university. And we happen to be in the top 50 institutions of the country in the latest NIRF ranking. We stand at 33. And then we are also doing, reasonably good, I would say, if you look at the data, in terms of the data, because data is the language through which people who are in the higher education especially should speak. And as they say, that data shapes our intuition also. So this whole exercise is about what actually has earned us, this is my experience since I have been looking after this DECA for a while now, where we generally deal with this data. What I believe is that over the period of time, somehow we learn to clean this data up, to make sure that whatever noise there is in the data, that noise is basically kicked off. And I must tell you, in the present world, those who have these data analytics skills, they actually are driving the discourse.
AISHE, we are capturing the data for around more than 1,000 fields or parameters from around more than 60,000 institutions registered in the AISHE. Institutions are categorized in three categories: university, college, standalone. And for getting more robust data from the institutions, we have to ensure that all the institutions, they have registered in the AISHE, or timely updation of the institution is also required, like if name has been changed or district has been changed, if some colleges has been upgraded, standalone colleges has been upgraded into colleges. So that updation of the institution is also required in AISHE. So timely updation of the institution's details is to be up to date in AISHE. Then I'll give some brief about AISHE. Like, AISHE is a single comprehensive source of higher education in the country. Or the uses of AISHE is not only at India level, it is used in international level also. AISHE data has been integrated now, like with PM Gati Shakti portal, which is a portal to develop or implement or initiate new policies or programs for enhancing the lagging behind. So to develop the scheme so that we can overcome with the factors. So PM Gati Shakti is a single portal where all the ministries have been connected, and we can use the data not only of the Ministry of Higher Education data, we can use the data of Ministry of Telecommunication, Ministry of Youth Affairs, Social Justice, and we can identify, like suppose I will give an example. If we want to open a college, so we can get the data key, like school education's data is where school is located within 10 kilometers of boundaries. Is there any colleges is there or not? Like if there is no college, so we can identify the location using this data, and we can initiate the development of college there.
AISHE stands for All India Survey on Higher Education. It is an annual web-based survey which has been there since 2010-11, aimed at collecting, tabulating, and finally interpreting and analyzing the data from institutions of higher learning. This data pertaining to infrastructure, student enrollment, finances of the colleges and universities is of a greatest significance. As Manzoor Sahab has rightly said, we are living in a world of data. This data is something which drives us, which shapes our planning. Because I must say that it is the determination of this data which is used in the determination of vital higher education indicators. For example, gross enrollment ratio, PTR, people-teacher ratio, in gender parity index, expenditure per student, etc., etc. The data so collected is used by planners and researchers. All you must know, because you must know that what is data. Data is always in form of figures, and figures are not mere numericals. They are what they are. They have a language of their own. They convey the correct picture at the ground.